Lyft is now rolling out a new feature called Women Plus Connect, and I'm a huge fan of this. You can see right here the main idea of it. Lyft now lets drivers prioritize matches with women and non-binary riders. Women Plus Connect, the name of the main feature, is a new feature designed to improve safety. It's launching in Chicago, Phoenix, San Diego, San Francisco, and San Jose. As most things happen when it comes to the ride-sharing world, they usually test it out in certain markets and then expand from there. And you can see right here that they launched Women Plus Connect, an app feature that quote-unquote matches women and non-binary drivers with more women and non-binary riders. The move is an effort to improve safety and encourage more women and non-binary drivers to work with the company. A report by The Verge found that female rideshare drivers frequently face harassment and sexual assault and feel unsupported by rideshare companies. So because you right here, this is kind of the main picture. Let me zoom in on this. You can see you could sign right up here, in terms of Women Plus Connect, match with more women and non-binary passengers. And so I think this is huge. Honestly, I'm a massive fan on this. You can see right here that the feature offers Lyft drivers an option to turn on a preference in the Lyft app to prioritize matches with other nearby women and non-binary riders. It's not a guarantee, right? Keep that in mind. It's not a guarantee. However, and if no riders that match that description nearby, drivers will still be matched with men. The company also says it hopes it will encourage more women to take on the role of a Lyft driver, which Lyft pays. They say this, quote unquote. Lyft says it pays close to $36 an hour on average, including tips and bonuses. I've done some videos about that. I'm not gonna lie, I think that's not true, as we all know. I mean, I usually say about $20 to $25 an hour on average when you include everything considered, right? But you can see right here that demographic, meaning women drivers, accounts for less than a quarter of Lyft drivers, right? Which is comparable with the rest of the rideshare industry. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm a massive fan of this for a couple of different reasons. The biggest one, just being honest, is one, increases safety, right? Like they said, based off the statistics, the data, things like sexual assault and, being in an uncomfortable position, just a lot of the negative aspects that can happen with ride sharing, unfortunately happen to a lot of women drivers. So this is a huge step up to try to improve, say, better matching and everything. The second thing, honestly, is me talking to a lot of women drivers on this channel, people who have driven before, and I might even say, which is, I think, a bigger demographic, is a lot of my own girlfriends or in my DMs on Instagram or comments on this channel. I get a lot of messages of women saying, hey, Mark, I actually want to drive. Uber and Lyft sounds great. Ride sharing sounds great. Of course, we all know the benefits. Of course, there's pros and cons to Lyft and Uber. We all know that. I've done videos about all the negative aspects of being a driver, regardless if you're a man or woman or however you identify. But I think one huge issue in general, though, is a lot of them are worried. They're like, well, if I drive on a Friday night, and let's be honest, as we all know, Friday and Saturday nights are typically the best times to drive to make the most amount of money. If I do drive on a Friday and Saturday night and I get a bunch of drunk guys in the car, am I going to be harassed? I'm going to be a bit worried. Do I bring a taser on me or pepper spray just in case something happens, right? And I can see that 100%. And even the other way around. There's been a lot of cases, it's a guy driving, a girl gets in the car who's, say, had a lot to drink on a Friday night, and then she feels uncomfortable if the driver kind of starts flirting or starts kind of making some odd comments or and things get very odd. So I actually think this is a huge step up. I think this actually could bring a lot of unique aspects of the ride-sharing industry. Like they mentioned, less than a quarter of drivers are typically women drivers. And I think this could be a huge thing to encourage more women, I think on both ends, to either start driving, right? Say if they've not started driving yet and they want to, this might be more of an encouragement, being like, you know what, given this feature, this makes me more comfortable to sign up and become a Lyft driver, for example. But also, two, I think this makes people feel way more comfortable, and which I'm really hoping, is the fact that it helps lower all these incidents that we hear, all these incredibly negative and life-threatening incidents. I think this is honestly a huge step up because, look, there's a lot of pros and cons of Lyft and Uber, same thing with rideshare driving. I think one big thing, though, that unfortunately kind of goes without saying is that there's a lot of amazing Uber and Lyft drivers, but of course, there's a lot of bad Uber and Lyft drivers, and I can really see this feature being a huge step up for the ride-sharing community.